14 days away from the NFL draft, so it's time for another mock draft from the New York Post Sports. Look, we done it all. We've played it safe with our picks. We've gotten aggressive, had some trade backs, trade ups, did a 7-round mock draft, and today, because of some not so sexy, I want to be traded news in Giants land, we're testing the market and seeing what or who Joe Schoen, John Harbaugh, and the Giants can get for Pro Bowl D tackle Dexter Lawrence. It's all here and more in the mock draft 8.0. Brandon London here representing Blue Rush. Frankie Vittorini representing Gangs Are here. It's our Giants and Jets show and podcast for the New York Post. I said it when you walked in here. I'm not going to like doing this daggone mock draft. I don't want to trade Dexter Lawrence. Darn it. But like John Harbaugh said the other day, everybody's tradable. Or anyone can be traded. I don't know. I just got to paraphrase that one. Basically, you can get up out of here. That's basically what he said there. So, yeah, man, we got to do it. I don't know when that call is going to come, who it's going to come from, but I'm thinking like the Giants are thinking, if the value is there, then I don't care.
Yep. And you know what? John Harbaugh made it clear, if you don't want to be here, get on out of here. He made that clear. Ooh. He wants players that want to be there, man. You look at what makes him so special as a head coach, man.
Yeah.
He doesn't. If the player doesn't want to be there, now they're saying it's through his agent.
Yeah.
That Dexter Lawrence actually does. His agent wants him to get paid or whatever. So
Denard Wilson wants him to be here. Dexter Lawrence shouldn't be paid like the 11th highest paid defensive tackle there. I think we can all agree with that. It's just the timing kind of threw everybody off, but at the end of the day, it gave us a little something to go off of for our mock draft 8.0 this time.
Let's go.
What it could be like if the Giants do decide to part ways with Dexter Lawrence and they get that call on draft day. Everything's still the same. The Jets hold 2 and 16, the second and 16th overall pick in the first round, and the 33rd overall pick in the second round. The Giants still have 5 in the first and 37th in the second. But dun 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 dun. But for how long? Let's start this draft off. Let's kick this thing off because I don't know. Have you been seeing any mock draft out there that has changed when it comes to the number 1 overall pick? Fernando Mendoza going to the Raiders. I just haven't seen it yet.
You know, I can't remember. Maybe Trevor Lawrence's year, he was the clear-cut number 1 pick. Right. That never changed. But sometimes, I mean, even last year, you saw a few mocks where Cam Ward wasn't going 1. The interesting thing with Mendoza, he's not going to the draft. Like Trevor Lawrence, he's not going. And there's a lot of debate now online about should they think about paying players. I know you're Mr. Showtime. Should they start paying players to show up for the draft?
Well,
I mean,
it is an appearance.
It is an appearance.
And now these college kids are getting paid more for less. So if you're going to use me for your ESPN or whatever NFL Network broadcast, not only do you got to fly me out, you got to fly my mama, my baby mama. You got to fly all the sugar mama. Fly them all out. Dang it. We're all going to be at the green room if you want me to be there. Or else I'm going to just have a party at the house. So, all right, Mendoza goes off the board first. I wonder what that excitement's going to look like at his house when they do announce that pick. Probably going to be real dry, but it doesn't matter. He's a first-round pick. I'm talking about him. Now you, sir, are off the board, on the board. I just want to shut up now. So, you're on the board.
All right, Brandon, do you know what's happened in the last week or so? Have you looked online with some of the murmurs about who the Jets are getting at 2? Because we had Arvell Reese here for a bunch of mocks. Most people had Arvell Reese here in their mocks.
You've had David Bailey a couple times. You kind of switched it. You had a little something here, a little something there.
I think the Jets, now that they've gone through their diligence and looked at these 2 prospects, which it's come down to those 2, Arvell Reese and David Bailey at 2, you clearly see a player, David Bailey, that can instantly upgrade your pass rush. And I know people online are talking about run stopping and setting the edge and all this stuff. I understand that. But Texas Tech had the best rush defense in college football last year.
Okay.
And they only gave up 2.2 yards a carry. So, and there's clips of David Bailey being pretty good against the run. He's not a run stopper by any stretch of the imagination, but it's not a detriment enough considering how good of a pass rusher he is. Just before I walked into this beautiful studio, David Bailey's now has higher odds to go second overall overall than Arvell Reese. That just happened about 20 minutes ago from the taping of this. So it's the pick. That's the pick. David Bailey's the pick.
Every single one of your picks at 2 has been defensive players. So there's nothing anyone can do, or I guess all the pro days, all the measurements, all the 40s have been ran. But no one, not one offensive player in this draft has kind of enticed you to at least flirt with taking them at number 2?
Good question. I've thought about Carnell Tate a bunch.
Oh, really? Okay.
I have, and the only reason I have is because Garrett Wilson's not going to be here forever. And we have to think about a day where Garrett Wilson's not here, or a game where Garrett Wilson's not playing due to injury or whatever. He missed a bunch of games last year.
Yep.
You need somebody else. If Garrett Wilson's not out there, we are screwed offensively. Yeah. There's no doubt about that. He's probably the most important skill. He is the most important skill position player on our team. So I've thought about Carnell Tate there. Carnell Tate, though, wasn't a wide receiver 1 at OSU. Now, I know Jeremiah Smith is one of the best prospects that you're going to see at the receiver position. So obviously you're not going to be the one guy there. But I haven't seen enough production from Carnell Tate for me to say just get him at 2. Mekhi Lemon's got deficiencies in size.
Okay.
And then Tyson's got lengthy injury history that I'm not comfortable there. So I'm not taking Jeremiah Love at 2.
All right.
Unless Breece Hall doesn't want to play on the franchise tag and they're not going to extend him by July 15th, which is a deadline for them. But no, I'm not thinking offense there.
Let's see. Did Breece tweet on? No, he didn't tweet after that. Okay, Breece, what you up to? You might be working out. All right, buddy. All right. So we got 3 and 4. Let's say the Cardinals take Arvell Reese. You just gifted them a generational linebacker at 4. Wait. I got a phone. No phone call. Nobody yet. Tennessee Titans take Sonny Styles.
Ooh.
Okay, so that means that Carnell Tate still on the board. Caleb Downs is still on the board. I'm Joe Shane, ladies and gentlemen. My phone's buzzing again. It's the Miami Dolphins.
Ooh.
Trying to trade up to 5.
What are they offering?
11. Not enough. I gotta go. I gotta go. I'm doing a mock draft right here, guys. Not enough. Not enough for me to trade 5, especially when we all know in this war room right now, this make-believe war room, who we want. And there's a reason we want this player, because when you think about John Harbaugh and the players that he has had in this position, Hall of Famers and future Hall of Famers. So with the 5th pick of the 2026 NFL Draft, the New York Football Giants select Ohio State safety Caleb Downs.
Ooh.
You got to. He's a 4. No pun intended. I'm going to see how many down puns I can get up in here. But he's a 4-down player. You're going to get down or lay down when you see this man run in the alley. I talked about when I watched him on tape, because I was wondering, is he just another product of a great pass rush at Ohio State, great defensive line, great front 7. We see it all the time. Their corners end up being a little bit shaky when they get taken in the first round. No, this kid is a safety, and he can do it all. He can play in the box. You can play him up top. I don't even want to put him in a deep third because that's just going to be boring. He's just going to be sitting there in the deep third. Maybe go over the top, rob a deep route or something like that. But I want this guy to be range-free, like I like my chicken. What is it? Cage-free, range-free chicken. This kid can run, man. He can run. And I know you're thinking, why don't you take Mansour Delane? Why don't you pick up the phone, trade back? Paulson Adebo didn't show up to the first day of voluntary workouts. You wonder, could there be something there? Did they tell the agent he may be on the trade block? Or it could be, hey, this guy's going into his 6th, 7th year in the NFL. He doesn't need to work out with the strength and conditioning coordinator. He can work out wherever he is, and he'll still get right. So, I kind of flirted with that idea of taking Mansour Delane. But at the end of the day, at 5, I got to take the player who I think can come in and be a part of a franchise reset. And this Caleb Down kid's, man, this kid, he shows up on tape on the defensive side of the football. But what's special about him and makes him Ed Reed-ish, I'm not calling him Ed Reed, he can score. The kid got what 3 punt returns for touchdowns. He's a safety that punt returns. You never hear about that. So what that tells you is the kid is an athlete. He's instinctual. He's a football player. He's explosive. So you have him in that secondary. That automatically is going to make the secondary better. But at the end, but when you're thinking of it at 5, I'm John Harbaugh, the $20 million man. I got to get this thing right. And I feel like Caleb Downs is the safest pick right there at 5.
I agree 100%. And the thing with Caleb Downs is how smart he is.
Yeah.
He will quarterback that entire defense. There's so many moving parts on that Giants defense that could be really interesting and really good.
Yep.
You need somebody back there to hold it down.
Absolutely.
And that's what Caleb Downs will do. I think John Harbaugh will meet this kid and will fall in love with him. There's a reason he started as a true freshman for Nick Saban's Alabama defense.
That's saying a lot.
That is. Led the team in tackles also.
That's saying a lot. That's saying a lot.
So I think once John Harbaugh meets Caleb Downs, I think that's a match made. And then, obviously, coming from Baltimore, where he saw what Kyle Hamilton did for him, that's going to have a little bit of an effect on him, too.
Yep.
In terms
Jim
of
Leonard, he's had Jim Leonard back there.
Yeah,
I was going to say Will Demps. He had so many safeties, bro. Like Geno Stone, remember, had that big year.
You're right.
And then he went to get paid somewhere else, and we haven't heard from him. So John Harbaugh, I know he's not coaching the safeties per se or the DBs like a Nick Saban. Nick Saban is very hands-on as a head coach and his DBs. But the guy has an eye. Harbaugh has an eye. Denard Wilson, defensive coordinator, DB, has got a DB background. Those guys got an eye. And I understand there's other positions that you need better production from, but you got to shore up that back end as well. And Caleb Downs is that guy. So
I'm going to throw something to you that you just threw to me.
What's that?
Why didn't you draft an offensive player? Because you have the receiver in Tate.
Yep.
You have Jeremiah Love there. Are you getting the itch to take one of those guys?
No, I feel as though I'm going to address the receiver room or the running back room in that second round. Or look, Dexter Lawrence is on the block. We're fielding calls for Dexter Lawrence, so who knows what we could get for him. We may be able to, you would obviously have to draft his replacement, but you may be able to get something. You may be able to get some good value for that. So I'm going to wait until. As is, I think I'm going to wait until the second round to flirt when it comes to that offensive position. But right now, don't love my receiver room. I really like my running back room, so I can hold off a little bit on the carbs. I can hold off on the carbs. All right.
We have Tate going the next pick. Actually, the Cleveland Browns, they're looking for a wide receiver 1.
Okay.
Commanders get Jeremiah Love staying in the division there.
So
you have Jeremiah Love going there. I think Washington obviously needs to upgrade that running back room and help out Jaden as much as they can. Saints, Mansour Delane, we've had this before.
Yep.
Makes sense. They need someone at corner.
Stays in Louisiana. Boot.
Yeah.
That's how they talk down there. Whoa. What do they talk down there? Whoa.
I could never do that.
I love this pick at 9. Go ahead.
Yeah, so this pick is an interesting one.
Yeah.
And it's funny, when we put this pick together, about a few hours later, Albert Breer mentioned this with Todd McShay that this is a possibility.
All right.
The Chiefs getting Kenyon Sadiq, man.
Oh, my God.
Think about Patrick Mahomes buying time in that pocket and that 4.39 speed from Kenyon Sadiq just streaking across the middle of the field. Travis isn't playing forever, and he's been declining. That pick makes too much sense.
And that pick saves Travis Kelce, because Travis Kelce will still get about 30-ish,
They could play on
40
the same field,
balls in the season, but this would be your focal point. Travis, you teach this kid everything you know. Let him be the focal point. And now, if you're in a 12 personnel, 1 running back, 2 tight ends, they're going to have big on big. So now Travis Kelce is going to get the one-on-one matchup with some Will linebacker or some Sam linebacker, and I think he still has enough juice in the tank to win that matchup. Maybe not against a premier coverage safety or premier coverage linebacker, but you can win that matchup. So that'd be great. The Bengals take Reuben Bain Jr. I'm going to fly through this. Cowboys, Dylan Thieneman. He flies down to the top 12. I like that kid, man. He's got some really good tape. The Rams take Mekhi Lemon. You don't know what they're going to do with Devontae Adams. You've heard that they're taking calls for him. The Giants, make that call if you
You know what I was thinking
to.
with that pick, Brandon, too? With, sometimes teams just like a kind of archetype at a position. The Rams loved Puka Nacua. The Rams before that loved Cooper Kupp. Mekhi Lemon kind of fits that, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
They have a liking towards that, so they're just probably going to pick him. I was thinking, at that spot. It just makes, so they might not. You might think, well, why would they take Mekhi Lemon when they have someone like that in Puka?
Yep.
They like receivers like that. They had Cooper Kupp and Puka on the same field for how long? So they like that.
You know what I really like?
What?
The word archetype.
That word I've been
archetype.
You like the archetype?
Archetype. I just learned something new
word,
today.
Man. That's a good word.
I'm gonna treat this like Madden, and I'm gonna assimilate the next couple of picks. Now you're on the clock again at 16, sir. And this is you've been to Jets draft parties before.
Yes,
I feel like
sir.
what you do at 2 is kind of expected. Jets Nation expects that. But what you do at 16, Darren Muji, Frankie Muji, this is what's going to define your GM-ship.
Yes, sir.
Your tenure as a GM. You're on the clock, sir.
When you have a receiver like Garrett Wilson out there, the only way you can stop Garrett Wilson is by having what they call inside and out coverage.
Yep.
You have your D-backs, your linebackers shading towards him a little bit more, right? You can't do that when you got this pick coming in. Because you're taking Jordan Tyson. I'm taking Jordan Tyson here at 16.
Okay.
I'm bringing in literally almost an identical version of Garrett Wilson, and I'm inserting him into this offense. You know what's harder than guarding one Garrett Wilson?
Two Garrett Wilson.
Two Garrett Wilson.
You get a Garrett Wilson. You get a Garrett Wilson.
I know people want someone that can complement Garrett Wilson. So Kaz in his Post Sports Plus piece had Denzel Boston going to the Jets in one of his mocks. Listen, you know what, man? Football is about scoring points. And I don't care how you do it. I don't care how it looks. But if guys are good at doing that, getting the ball in that 10-yard end zone, that's what Jordan Tyson does. He had one of the highest receiving touchdown rates out of any receiver. He doesn't really drop the ball. He makes every contested catch that he really can. And he's extremely elusive. You never know what he's going to do next. He's like a ballroom dance. Him and Garrett, corners are going to have fits out there. They're not going to know. Is he going inside, outside? Is he running a stop and go? Is he doing the post corner? You don't know what these guys do. Those are the kind of receivers I think that help a quarterback too. And these guys are scheme dependent. Or excuse me, they're not scheme dependent, Garrett and Jordan Tyson, where I don't know what this offense is going to look like. But I know that when Jordan Tyson and Garrett Wilson are out there, they don't need the scheme to get them open. They can get open on their own.
Yeah, you can't pass up on a wide receiver like that, especially if it's a guy that you like. And there's already that news out there that they passed up on Jackson Smith and Jigba a couple years ago. And I feel like this is a kid that can come in, if healthy, can have that type of JSN production in his first 2 years. If anything, if he stays healthy, I think Geno Smith falls in love with this kid. And he ends up taking some balls away from Garrett Wilson. And I'm not saying that as a bad thing. A Garrett Wilson, 90-catch guy all 3 years he's been in the league so far. But if he goes down to a 75 to 80-catch year and now you've got another receiver on the outside, on the opposite side, that's a 40, 50-catch guy, I'm okay with that because that now takes hits off of his body. That now adds some longevity to him. And most importantly, like you said, when you talk about that I&O coverage, that in and out, always shading a back or always shading a nickel will or a safety over the top, that now, if Jordan Tyson can step in and do what he's supposed to do and show why he was one of the finalists for the Biletnikoff Award, now that safety goes from skewing like that to having to go right back to that middle, right back to the middle. And there's even going to be times where I'm a defensive coordinator. I'm going to be like, all right, let me take my second corner and then put the safety over the top. And now I'll put my first corner on Jordan Tyson. This kid, by the middle of the season, he should be man enough, or he should now be able to drop his cojones and be NFL ready enough to beat a CB1 consistently in this NFL. So I like the pick. I like the pick.
And there's 5 guys at that spot.
I love 5 guys.
Do you? It's all right.
It's good food.
5 guys is whatever.
Free peanuts.
You ever go to Bear Burger?
Never heard of it.
You never heard of Bear Burger?
Never heard of Bear Burger.
Dude, Bear Burger is legit, bro. They don't get enough love.
All right.
Brian, you know about Bear Burger? How does no one know about Bear? It's maybe because I live in Queens. But all right. So there's 5 guys.
Okay.
That if one of those 5 is there at 16, you just take them.
Okay.
And you could almost shuffle them how you want.
All right.
It is Carnell Tate, Mekhi Lemon, Vega Ioane, Jordan Tyson, and Kenyon Sadiq. I just added Kenyon. It was 4 guys. Okay. Now we made it 5 guys.
There you go.
Sadiq went, Mekhi went, Carnell Tate went, Vega went 14 of the Ravens. Jordan's the last guy of that 5. Now, let's say the Buccaneers got Jordan Tyson, then and they wouldn't. They have a loaded wide receiver room. But if they actually not really, they might be able to flirt with that now that Mike Evans is gone. Yeah, it's not crazy actually. But if they got Jordan Tyson, then we're in a little bit of a pickle. We have to be a little bit creative there. But if Tyson's there, you take him.
All right. You think that's how Five Guys was created? There were 4 of them, and then one more came in and was like, guys, what about me?
Yeah, 4 guys wouldn't sound as good.
Nah.
If it was like 4 guys, I don't think it would have been as popular.
See, look, you get everything in the mock draft 8.0, ladies and gentlemen.
I guarantee there weren't 5 guys.
Yeah, but that was not the archetype of 4 guys.
I was going to make a bad joke right there, but I can't be making these.
All right, let's roll through this so we can get to the second round. The Lions taking Monroe Feeling. The Dallas Cowboys take Jermod McCoy, that corner. Okay, there's a corner off the board. I was talking about Mansour Delane. Now Jermod McCoy goes off the board.
Cowboys fixing that secondary.
Cowboys fixing that secondary. The Steelers.
There was a pick you skipped through, though.
At 18. Yeah. At 18, the Vikings, Jadarian Price, running back. So he goes up.
The more I watch this guy, and considering the other players in this draft, there is no way, in my opinion, I could be wrong. Put me on the record. Every time I do this, it's usually wrong anyway. But Jadarian Price is not going to get out of the first round. His tape is too good, and there's not enough. There's not enough quality running backs. There's just not.
Without a doubt.
The Vikings need help.
Play, bro.
They need a running back. It's just
he can play, bro.
Why would they take? Everyone has them taking Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, who's really good, and we had him going 22. They're going to need help, man. They got to help the quarterbacks out over there, whoever it is. So yeah.
All right, speaking of quarterbacks, our boy Ty Simpson. Ty goes to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I like it. We get to 23 where the Eagles take Keldrick Falk. 24, dang, I hate I have to say this name. The Cleveland Browns take Max Ionacher.
Yeah,
something like wait a minute. Wait a minute, my phone's ringing again, bro.
Damn, bro.
It's a Chicago number. Chicago.
There's
you know anybody in Chicago? You know anybody in Chicago?
Chicago's
Hello. Joe Shane here. That's the Joe Shane voice. Hey, Ryan Poles, what's going on? Yeah. How's Ben Johnson doing? Yeah. Okay. Caleb still painting his nails? Yeah. Jackson Dart would never. What? For Dexter? I want 25 and a second round pick for 2027. What do you mean? What do you mean? No, that's what the Cowboys gave up for Quinnen Williams. This is Sexy Dexy we're talking about. 3-time Pro Bowler. He's got his own dance. Man's got national commercials. Wait, let me run it by Don and John. They say they want Dexter in a 5th for 25. Everybody in the room? Brandon Brown, you good? Well, we have ourselves a trade, Frankie. We have ourselves a trade. With the 25th, the Giants will trade Dexter Lawrence and a 2027 5th-round pick for the 25th overall pick. Now, I'm a little upset about that, Frankie. I'm not Joe Shane anymore. I'm back to being B. London. I'm a little upset with that because I feel as though for Dexter Lawrence, you should get what the Cowboys got for Mr. Bless you, thank you, for Quinnen Williams. But anyone's tradable, and at 25, they may like somebody, and they may want to add some sort of value. So
you know who you blame for that?
Who's
your boy. You blame your boy Carl Banks for that. Carl.
So you're saying his value went down then? So you're saying he's not worth what Quinnen Williams is worth?
We've seen in NFL history the Albert Haynesworth, Christian Wilkins, defensive tackles that for whatever reason don't want to play football anymore. The fact that was even speculated with Dexter Lawrence puts it in someone's head that who knows. And I'm not saying that's the truth.
Yeah.
But you never know. That was never the case with Quinnen.
Okay.
Quinnen was just on a bad team for his
So was
standard.
Dexter Lawrence.
Yeah,
and there's a couple times he went to bat. There's a couple times I'm in the, he's one of the two guys I don't want traded from this Giants team. Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence. Selfishly, because I'm in the locker room. Our boss Ryan sends me to the Giants locker room to get interviews. I can't come back with a Brandon London interview like that type of player. I got to get a top guy. So even when those guys do the scrum, I'll still be like, yo, Spider-Man, you got a little time for me? Or Dex, you got a little time for me? They'll give me the one-on-one. So selfishly, yeah. And then on the football side of it, I still think the kid got some juice in his tank. He didn't have spring football because he was recovering from the elbow. Came back in the summer, was on and off, and then just had a down year. Sometimes it takes a coach like John Harbaugh to kind of come in and throw that message out there where anybody can be traded to be like, all right, y'all want to test the market? We'll test the market. And it looks like they bit. It looks like the 25th overall pick was enough.
Not great, but it's good.
But what that means is they could have identified that here may be a 29-year-old defensive tackle coming off a down year. He could be on that decline, like you said, Albert Haynesworth and Christian Wilkins. So you don't know what it is. Again, this is mock draft 8.0. We had to spice this thing up. But with the 25th overall pick from the Chicago Bears, the New York Football Giants select Omar Cooper Jr., wide receiver out of Indiana. OCJ, let's go. 6 foot, 199. You look at his 2025 stats, 69 catches, 937 yards, and 13 touchdowns. In fact, he had 22 touchdowns in his career. One thing I love about him, Frankie, you see when I talked about Jeremy Bernard last week, I talk about Jordan Tyson, I talk about how smooth they are, how they can run the tree. Omar Cooper Jr. has got to get a little bit better in terms of running deeper routes, really getting in and out of his breaks when it comes to that. But when the kid, OCJ, touches the ball, it's one, he's go gadget with it. He plucks and tucks. Two, it's like a transformer. He turns into a running back. This kid's got the strength, this kid's got the power, and he's got the balance to where he'll get hit. He'll catch a ball, get hit, stay on his feet, and get some really great yards after 100%. The catch. He's got the versatility to play in the slot. You can play him on the outside, 6 foot, big enough. But one thing I really like about him is Matt Nagy is going to run that RPO. They're going to run that to death, I feel like. They did that in Indiana, and it seemed like he just knew what spot to be in, what hole to be in that second level off of the RPO, that sweet spot, catch the ball in space, and then he just turns into a yak monster. I like this pick. They've got the speed guys. So I'm like, he's not fast. Maybe not. He's a burner. Maybe they can get a guy a little bit faster. Malik ran 4.3 something. Nah, he's a 4.5 guy, 4.42. He got a 10-yard, 1.55, 10 yards. Not a burner, but he's a guy. And they need a guy.
That's a fact.
They need a guy, and he can come in and be a guy. OCJ, be a guy.
He 100% can.
Yeah.
And you know what the thing with him is?
What's that?
You know what makes him a guy?
He stays healthy.
He stays healthy. He has no weaknesses in his game. There is nothing, when you look at Omar Cooper Jr. on tape, there's nothing you can point to and say, I don't like that. That's not going to work.
Okay.
Everything he does works, and the balance point is probably the best point that I've heard about him. His balance is awesome.
It's ridiculous.
He's like a cat.
And it takes me to OBJ, where some of the catches I've seen him make in Giants practice, where he goes up and double coverage, 40, 50, 60 yards down the field, catches it. The defenders fall, but OBJ would stay on his feet and then be dancing the last 15, 20 yards into the end zone. It's an unmeasurable skill set for receivers, and few have it. It's like an eliteness of eliteness. And if you can catch it, stay on your feet. And then with this guy, the power to bounce off, because again, if you're catching it 20, 30 yards down the field, it's not a linebacker down there. It's not a deep tackle. Yeah. It's not dudes doing 225 like you 20-plus times. It's all little guys down there. So he's bouncing through arm tackles. I think they could have fun. I think Matt Nagy could be creative with this guy, and I think this could be a guy that could run those intermediate routes for you and really make some noise in that Giants offense on day one when he steps in there. So I like that pick. I don't like the trade, but I like the pick.
And I like where the kid's coming from too. He's coming from a winning program.
Yeah.
You're going to build winners with guys that come from winning places. They know what it means to win.
Yep.
Coming from Indiana, you just got Caleb Downs coming from Ohio State, previously Alabama. I think it's the kind of guys that John Harbaugh wants, honestly.
Let's end that there and go straight to the second round.
Yeah.
Let's get you on the board. All right, guys, we're gonna go to not a real commercial, but fake commercial. Actually, we're gonna end it for the night. Was it Thursday night? Yeah. Let's go. Like late night happy hour. Let's go out. All right, second day. We're still in the same clothes because we love this stuff. We're in the second round now. You on the clock first at 33, sir.
All right, man. When you play D tackle, right, or you're playing 3 tech, you're playing end, and you go and you're, first play, second play of the game, kind of sets the tone for the rest of the game.
Yep.
If you got some mean guys up front, you sort of think about it the rest of the game like, damn, these dudes are beating me up.
Yep.
I can't get off these guys. It's going to be a long day. The Jets need to give Olu Fashanu, who's not the meanest left tackle, they got to give him a mean boy right next to him.
Okay.
They got to give him a guy that comes from New Jersey and is tough. Don Bosco kid, squats 705 pounds. They got to give him someone that is going to beat people up and put people down. And that guy's Chase Basantis.
Okay, yep.
I want a guard in this draft, and I want a mean guard. So if it's not Vega Ioane, and we didn't have a chance to draft him unless you're going to take him at 2, you go and get Chase Basantis in the second round. I am prone to maybe say wait till 44, but don't take the risk. A bunch of players that I would have liked at 33 were gone. I would have liked one of the receivers. The receiver you guys got at 25 would have been perfect there, but he went. There's nobody really after that you really have to worry too much about or lose sleep over. But defensive tackles are going to lose sleep thinking about trying to get to the quarterback or playing on that side with Chase Basantis and Olu. The Jets need to build a differentiator. The only way forward is to differentiate today.
Yep.
And how do you differentiate? You can't try to build like everybody else. We have one unique thing in New York with the Jets. We have 2 bookend tackles. Make it even better. Make that O-line even stronger. Do what the Cowboys did in the 90s. Do what the Eagles have been doing. Build the best O-line you can. I would take Vega in the first round, but again, he wasn't there. Take Chase Basantis at 33. Get some mean boys up front. You're going to set your quarterback up in the future to succeed because you're going to give him more time. And whoever that running back is, he's going to have lanes because you got a guy like Chase there just road grading people down the highway, man. That's how this guy plays. He's just mean. He grabs people. He launches dudes. He's constantly moving his feet. He's a mean boy.
Well, I mean, you said whichever running back you got back there. Breece Hall just tweeted again watching, and he said, you know what, with that pick, I just might sign with y'all. Hashtag BH2K. Breece Hall believes, or our fake Breece Hall right here thinks that he could run for 2,000 yards behind that offensive line that you just mentioned with the 2 bookend tackles, and then you got a Basantis up front in the middle.
Yeah.
And that right there shows your identity. That proves what that identity reinforces what the identity is going to be. Gino, we're gonna don't worry, Gino. We got you your receiver. We're gonna work with Mason Taylor going into his second year. You already have Garrett Wilson. We're going to run the football. We wanted to do it last year, but we were down a lot. You're that quarterback that can keep us in games, and we're going to have a run game that can keep us in games. And we're going to prove it to you because not only when we have to have you on 5 or maybe even 7-step drop, 5 in a hitch or whatnot, there's no leakage up front, at least not for where Basantis is.
Yes.
So, Gino, go back there and cook. You're cooking with this draft right now. Let's keep this thing moving in this second round. Go ahead.
2 receivers went right after the Cardinals got Caleb Lomu. They need a tackle at 34. 2 receivers that I was thinking about taking at 33, but I'm not there. Chris Bell, who's fantastic, by the way, on tape.
Is.
He's coming off an ACL. And then you have Jeremy Bernard going to Alabama.
There he goes.
Going to the Raiders from Alabama. That's a good pick for Fernando Mendoza. He kind of had some receivers like that at Indiana, so you make him comfortable.
Yep.
Now that leaves you on the clock. See what happens when you trade. You get some picks, man. You just got Omar Cooper Jr. Now you're drafting again.
Well, I mean, this
look at the quality of players right now.
This one was a no-brainer. I'm back in the draft room. B. London Shane right here. I'm back in the draft room. This was a Don. This one was a no-brainer. I'm Joe Shane again. We're selecting C.J. Allen, linebacker out of Georgia. 164 total tackles in the 2 years. He's been a full-time starter at Georgia. Last year he had 3.5 sacks. That shows he can get after the quarterback if you blitz him. He also had 2 forced fumbles, and he got a couple interceptions. I didn't have the right name. I love this kid in zone coverage. I'm not even going. His strength is stopping the run. Go put on the tape. This kid, he's got the explosiveness. He's not a speed backer running that 4.55, but he's a guy with some explosion that when he gets into that block, he explodes, disengaged, comes off, and makes the tackle. And not one of those tackles where you're falling backwards. It's a tackle where you're stopping him right where you hit right on contact, or he's pushing him back. But when you watch the tape and you look at his MO, his skills, his elite skill set, the kid goes side to side. The kid goes east-west like a United flight. This kid, man, and you talk about what does the Giants need to do in 2026? What's the one thing they have to do?
I don't know.
Stop the run.
You're right.
Stop the run. So it kind of sucks that in this mock draft you traded away Dexter Lawrence. You traded him away, and you haven't addressed that just yet. That means that, you may make some trades here and there, more on draft day, or trade up in this third round, or trade back into the second round to get a defensive tackle that you love, that you feel as though you could replace him with. But I look at this C.J. Allen kid. He's a green dot linebacker, man. He's going to come in, and I believe he'll take over for Tremaine Edmonds as the guy one day. But it would be great to have a Tremaine Edmonds and a C.J. Allen right there, right next to each other. The only knock I have, Frankie, again, I talked about how I like him in zone coverage. His eyes, he can read route concepts. He knows someone goes out, someone's coming in. He knows someone goes low. Don't bite the cheese because they're going to throw something right behind. They're going to run something right behind my head. And he's got a couple picks where he baited quarterbacks into that. Man-to-man, he struggles. He's not athletic enough to run with and cover athletic tight ends and backs. That's not his game. But if you're a Denard Wilson or a Denard Wilson defense, you're going to rush and you're going to drop zone behind it, keep everything in front of you. That might play right into this guy's skill set and being able to be a force in zone coverage.
I'll say this, man. That's a totally acceptable weakness for a player that's a linebacker.
Yeah.
Covered man-to-man is one of the toughest things to do for linebackers in football. Not many can do it well. So if he can't do that or he struggles, you can live with it because that boy is going downhill and he's laying the wood, and you are not getting extra yards on that kid. So, and your linebacker room's a little
shaky.
Yeah, right. You don't know how it's going to work out.
Yeah,
so
it's like the receiver room. It's like out. Well, because you got Malik Neighbors is dinged up. So you got Tremaine Edmonds. He's really good, but he's a little older. So there's some question marks within that linebacker room. And again, the people will be like, what? You haven't added on for Dexter. You haven't brought someone in yet. You could do that via trade. I wouldn't even bank on just having a rookie come in and try and be that anchor on the defensive line anyway. I'll probably have to make some sort of trade to bring in a vet, maybe on the fourth year of his contract or on a contract year, to kind of bring him in on one of those prove it deals. You show up and you show out and you cause chaos in the middle. Then we got a nice little bag for you on the other end. Not too much, but we got a nice little bag for you, more than what you'd be getting at your other team.
Remember, John Harbaugh wanted Roquan Smith.
Yep.
So, I mean, this is your Roquan Smith.
This is
it's very similar.
That's Ro. Yeah. That's Ro right there. Go ahead, finish this off at 44.
All right, man. Do you know what Aaron Glenn said when he got hired with the Jets? You know what he or what they described him as? What was
a leader of men?
There you go.
There you go.
You're good. You're good today. You're sharper than me today.
That's such a football's that's a cliche football terminology. That and iron sharpens iron. You hear that all the time, especially in training camp. But my bad, keep going.
Or a real lunch pail guy.
Yeah.
You know, for like the Mike DeVitos. You know, there's one player in this draft that's described by his coaching staff, and they came out with this, that they call him the leader of men of that defense. And they describe this guy as being a humble leader of men and one of the best leaders that we've ever coached.
Okay.
And all these guys at where? We're going back to Texas Tech, baby.
Okay.
We got the roommates thing going again. David Bailey needs a little roommate, right? So, listen, Jacob Rodriguez is a perfect pick for the New York Jets for a multitude of reasons. I don't have to go down the checklist of all the things he does well, but how instinctive he is, how great of a tackler he is, how he causes chaos. He punches the ball out. He had 4 interceptions last year, just in 1 year.
Love it.
And out of all the things that he does so damn well, the one thing that I love about Jacob Rodriguez here is we just got Demario Davis back, right? Demario Davis is actually a leader of men and will teach Jacob Rodriguez the ropes of what it takes to be a great NFL linebacker. This is a can't-miss pick for the Jets.
Okay.
Is Jacob Rodriguez better than Anthony Hill Jr., who I really like also? Probably not in this sort of mold of linebacker. He's a little undersized. I think Anthony Hill Jr. physically does some things that Jacob doesn't do. But when you talk about having to lead the defense for the future and be the leader of men for our defense, Demario will teach him the ropes.
There you go.
You just insert him right in.
There you go. Just go in.
Jacob Rodriguez will be a linebacker here if you take him at 44. He'll be a linebacker here for the next 6 or 7 years, no doubt about it.
You heavy in that linebacker room. They got a lot.
Yeah, a little bit heavy. I don't know if they like Sherwood that much, man. I'm a little bit in the minority.
Okay.
I do like Jamian, and I think Jamian Sherwood got the short end of the stick last year with the Steve Wilkes defense and CJ not being there anymore. That was his confidant when he came in. I'm not as anti-Jamian Sherwood as others, but it seems like the team may be flirting with looking in other directions.
The last regime was the one that paid him. You got to think about that. So if you can get that up off the books, then it is what it is.
Hey, like
they say, like we say in NFL, IJB, it's just business.
You're right.
It's business. So let's recap that second round at 33. Jets took Chase Pasantis, guard from Texas A&M. 37, we had the Giants taking C.J. Allen, linebacker from Georgia, go Dogs. And at pick 44, the Jets take Jacob Rodriguez, linebacker from Texas Tech. That was a draft. I was a little emotional trading Dexter away, man.
You know what, man? Listen, it's okay to trade players, man. I know a lot of people get sentimental value with some of these guys, and they don't like the Jet fans don't want to trade Brees. They don't want to trade Sauce. Hey, man. Sometimes people need to part ways. It's life. Sometimes you're going to be better off not here, and we'll be better off with you not being here because it's just not working. It happens.
Dang, Frank, I would never want to play for you, yo. I would never. Where is you want me to run down on kickoff and fit between the wedge and hit guards and all. And you're like, doesn't look like you can do that anymore, but it's okay. We're gonna ship you to somewhere to where you can do that. It's okay.
Send you to CFL.
Bring your playbook. Bring your playbook. And your passport. You're going to Canada. Wow, man. All right, that was fun, man.
That was good, man.
Y'all, we got 2 more of these. We're gonna have one next Thursday, 9.0 for sure, and then the Tuesday before the draft. Draft is on the Thursday, the 23rd. We're gonna do a final mock draft that Tuesday. So 2 more mock drafts for you guys coming up. For Frankie Vittorini, I'm Brandon London. Thank you for watching our New York Post Sports Mock Draft 8.0.